Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks. Today we have Sumit Jain with us from LSU, and I'm so excited. I was telling Will you should be super jealous in the pre-live because me and Sumit actually get to hang out for lunch every once in a while, and it's really nice. And we're so sad Will's not there. I like it whenever we get to talk to local folks that I actually get to hang out with and stuff because it's just then it really is like inviting just friends over for coffee to hang out. Like I would submit next time you're in Denham Springs, you want to come hang out on the couch? Are you allergic to dogs? I hope not.
No.
It was funny because we're going to be doing a drawing at the end. So if you were at B-Sides and stopped by the Secure Nation table, there was a sign-up sheet for a super secret fun wallet giveaway that is not safe for work. And we're going to be doing the drawing at the end. And Meg is like positioned her camera. It's going to be fun. You'll see why at the end. But anyway, she had to run over here and get a stand for her camera. And we're on.
I get it. So you don't have to be an artist.
What?
Well, I don't draw very well, so you know.
Wow. Seriously? Wow. Does it violate? I can't see because it's over the thing. What is it?
OSHA codes?
Probably. No, it's not. It's not that sort of unsafe. Yeah. What? I can't espresso what this talk means to me. Oh my God. Obsidian Arrow coming with the dad jokes. Wow. That is fantastic.
I mean, he can just walk out and say that too, right?
Yes, he can. 100%.
Thursday night. Yeah.
When we were setting up and Meg needed a stand for her camera to help with, showing where we're going to be doing the drawing from, I was like, yeah, just run over and come get it. I've got it out already. And she like walked away and Sumit's like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, she lives like 2 doors down. So that was fun. So, but anywho, sorry, that's just funny for me, I guess. But yeah, so that's what we'll be doing today. And Will, you have a bunch of stuff going on at the college today.
Oh, it's nuts.
Yeah, what you got going on, bud?
Well, we got Ryan down here.
Yeah.
And Ryan, he's squirrel going nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's down here to talk with students, and he's covering AI tools and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And I just looked at the count, and we're up to about 70 or so. So it's going to be a lot of fun with the house and trying to get laptops all around and getting the virtual desktops going so that people can participate and play and all that kind of deal. So it's going kind of nuts. So and it starts right after this. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah. So you're gonna drop from where you are, and then we're gonna pick you back up while you're in transit. Is that the plan?
Oh, cool. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can. I think throw it on my phone, and so you can give Ryan a chance to say hi.
Oh, there you go. I like it. Okay.
Because we all love Ryan, right?
Favorite squirrel. Calling him
Yeah, I met him for the first time. Was it last week, Rachel, or the week before? I think 2 weeks ago at the InfraGard panel.
Yeah. The InfraGard panel. That was cool. That was so fun. I only took one picture, and it's horrible of all of us lined up with a selfie. That's bad.
Yeah. If you haven't met Ryan, it's kind of, if you could take a Super Bowl and fire it from a shotgun into a very small room, that's Ryan.
It was funny. Meg and I picked him up from the airport when he came for the InfraGard panel. And he landed in New Orleans. So we had quite a drive back. And Meg was also meeting Ryan for the first time. No, it takes Google Maps says that it takes an hour and 23 minutes to get from the airport to where we were dropping Ryan off. For an hour and 23 minutes, Ryan did not stop talking. Meg was amazed that in the middle of the conversation between him and I, because both of us are squirrels, right? So we're there. We're locked into each other the whole time. And I was like, "Oh yeah, and don't forget to call Will. You're supposed to call Will whenever you land." He went, "Okay, great." And he was mid sentence, and then suddenly he goes, "Hello, hey Will," and then him and Will start talking. And Meg was like, there was no warning. There was nothing. Does there need to be? It's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, Ryan operates in gigabaud. He's just.
It's super fun. So what you got going on today, Sumit?
Oh, um, what my typical day to day is, which is nothing but starting off at 7 a.m. meetings or 8 a.m. meetings, and luckily today is Friday, so my last meeting is at 3, not at 4:30.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, I mean, look, like the position that I'm in is either one thing or another that's happening, and we have two large projects happening right now. Um, and from a security standpoint, I'm a security lead on one, and on the other one, my team's leading that project. And it's our internal project that's replacing our identity and access management system. So
Important
just like,
things for you to be a part of. Yeah.
yeah,
It's super fun. That
yeah,
sounds
and these are not like, okay, 2 week POC and then we go live. No, this is like a 3 year project or a 4 year project,
right.
and you have to go live in phases. So it's like keeping track of 100 different things to make sure we don't miss something.
Right. Well, and let's talk about that, right? So you essentially, I mean, and I've said it 1,000 times. I always whatever Sumit has a big fancy title, but he's the CISO. Okay? He's the CISO over at LSU. That's his function. All right.
Yep.
And there is and I posted this morning to kind of announce, remind folks, hey, today we're going to go live, and just barely very shortly listed out a few of the challenges that higher ed comes with whenever you're trying to trying to secure all the things, right? And it's great that you mentioned identity access management, because let's talk about some of the unique challenges to higher education around identity access management. So,
Oh,
Sumit, how long do alum keep their identities to log in, or like their emails or
so I'm gonna introduce. If folks don't already know, I'm gonna introduce a concept that I'm having a very hard time making sure vendors understand. When
okay,
it comes to higher education, there are two identities, right? One is a person identity, and the other is the account identity. We don't get rid of person identity ever, because guess what? We still have people coming to us that graduated 30 years ago and they want their transcript. Well, guess what? If you don't have their person identity maintained, there's no way for us to generate that transcript for them, right? You got to have a person identity that has a unique identifier that your legacy system or your new systems can pick out and go, yep, you're this person, and here's your transcript. So we never get rid of person identities. Account identities, it's 18 months, or it's 3 major semesters after your last enrolled date. Could be whether you graduated or didn't graduate, doesn't matter, but it's 18 months. So
right,
for students, if if you're graduating this May, your account will stay live. Now, what it has access to will change over time
right,
as we go through our life cycle, account life cycle. But they will keep their account until spring 2026, and that is when their account gets purged.
okay. Now here's another challenge that I could be like, wow, that's hard. So, enrolled freshmen,
Hmm.
is that a bigger number than enrolled sophomores?
Yes, of course, because you're gonna have whenever folks get, and this with any higher education, you always have we have the largest incoming class, and LSU has broken records of incoming freshmen over the last 4 or 5 years at least, um, and you will have people coming in and that get enrolled, that are admitted and then enrolled, and you almost every higher education institution goes through um, your retention rate between your freshman year and sophomore year. There's always a drop off,
Yeah, there's
right? There's always
yeah,
people that join, freshman year, go through the freshman year and do not transition into sophomore year.
right.
Now,
Those are the kids that I like to say should have taken a gap year, but that's okay.
well, it's like so it's a different way of looking at it, right? So it's transition from high school to college. It's a big change. It's a
Yeah.
drastic change, especially if you're coming from small towns in Louisiana, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or small towns in any state, for
Right.
that matter. So there have to be tools and technologies, and technology has to play a part into this, because you have to have the capability, or the institution have to have the capability to be able to determine these are the folks that we got to focus on to make sure that they transition appropriately from freshman year to sophomore year.
Right.
And technology plays a role in that, because it's um, today, in today's day and age, especially in higher education, it's all data driven decisions. So you have to have the right data, it has to go
Right.
to the right place, and the right people have to have access to that data in order to make the right decisions, right?
Right.
So yeah, and I mean, I think LSU has made great strides over the years, and we have also come up with different systems that help students. Um, so it may be that from an admissions perspective, we do not believe that you are ready to go to the flagship university. So we have other campuses, we have an online programs. So we may transition you through that, let you take courses at a smaller institution, or maybe take an online course or two, and then transition into the big life of LSU Baton Rouge campus.
Which is beautiful, by the way. If you guys have never visited LSU, it is, go look it up online. Google it. Louisiana
Oh
State
yeah,
University, LSU. It is beautiful. So pretty. I did a tour whenever I was starting my college career, and I was one of those kids that came from a very small town. Uh, and LSU was 10 times the size of my town. So I went, this is neat. And then I went to Southeastern. So I was intimidated by how beautiful. I was like, and not that Southeastern's not beautiful, but it was definitely a lot more
yeah,
tight knit.
tiny, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So,
mean, LSU is the land grant university for the state of Louisiana, right? So it definitely is, um, and we actually our physical campus, our physical location actually hosts two campuses.
yeah.
So it's LSU A&M, and then it's LSU Ag Center as well. And LSU Ag Center does a lot, all the agriculture research and agriculture um, plants we have throughout the state of Louisiana. That's all LSU Ag Center. So it's
Right.
two campuses on one physical location.
Right. And how important is it to secure the research that's done?
It is so it's one of the things, when it comes to research, right? A lot of research actually is public information, because
Mhm.
a lot of researchers, what they do is when they're doing the research, that data, while they're doing the research, that data may not be publicly available, but the
Right.
moment they have published the paper, that
Yeah.
information can be made public. But
Right.
we have some very sensitive research that happens, and especially um, when we talk about kind of grants our university researchers get, we are talking about DoD, Department of
Right.
Energy, Homeland Security, Department of Louisiana Juvenile Justice. So it's all different kinds of data sets, and each one is, you got to look at it from a case by case perspective,
Right.
because what how you secure one of those research projects is not how you would secure the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
I so for our listeners, because not everybody is familiar with the education space,
Yeah.
I'd like to give you just to draw out a little bit more understanding of the complexity of what takes place in a ed institution element, right? Because we've got some very unique aspects. One, it's in our DNA to share. That's what education is all about. So these students that what you just heard him say. We've got accounts that have to be long lived. Then we have tons of resources that have to be provided both
Hmm.
on campus and off campus. Everything
Hmm.
from stuff that goes through libraries to stuff that are shares on drives inside the campus. You have VPN elements. You have uh, you have possibly even dorms, living
Yeah.
space, things of that sort. And then you have all your administration keeping track of those records and keeping all that safe, as well as things like research and things like that. And you have resources that hackers are hungry for.
Hmm.
If you are an education institution, for example, with Google, you have an incredible amount of drive space. So if a hacker can get a hold of that, then they have these great places to dump information in large quantities.
Yeah.
And all
Absolutely.
of that is happening simultaneously. And as you know better than anything else, that involves elements of compliance that are just out of this world.
Yeah. And so I'll say this: if I've worked both on the public sector and the private sector, I've worked for multinational companies as well, and when you go into that, I got to be compliant with SOX, right? Or I got to be compliant with PCI DSS for this section of my environment. Great. You come to a higher education, you have things like FERPA because you deal with education records. You have GLBA because you're doing financial aid
Yep.
and providing scholarships. You have HIPAA because you have a student health
Yep.
center. And or you're running you're doing research that involves health information,
Right.
and then every research grant that you will do with an external granting agency has
Hmm.
its own grant contract that may come with its own security requirements, right? So it's definitely interesting, and it's definitely something that keeps you on your toes
Oh,
because
and
you're
FOIA.
learning about something different every day. And
Yeah.
that is, we haven't even touched on the education side of this, where data privacy comes into picture,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Or
Don't forget FOIA, right?
yes, yeah, because we are a state agency, right? So
Yep.
so the amounts of e-discovery we do for public records request is, and I'm not even going to touch on what our Office of General Counsel deals with. I'm just going to talk about what my team has to deal with when it comes to e-discovery.
Yep.
But we haven't even talked about the privacy aspect of things when it comes to students, because everybody likes bright and shiny things, and because that's the newest thing on the market, so we want to have utilize it. So, and we want to make things easier for students, right? So when we start talking about, hey, we want to leverage biometrics so that people can get into their dorm rooms and they don't have to walk around with a physical ID card everywhere, or to access to a rec center. And the first thing, because I know you guys were talking about it last week with Mark, you're optimist, right? I'm the pessimist one. Mark is an optimist. I'm the pessimist. First thing in my head that comes is, what are the risks? What are
Yep.
the things that we have to think about that the users are not going to think about, the provider of the information is not going to think about, right? Um, they're going to be thinking about, how do we make it easier, faster, and so that people are able to get in and provide and do whatever they need to do. And I'm going, okay, biometrics. Now, what if the student is from Illinois? Can I capture their biometrics? If not, do I still have to have card swipe? So we are talking about two solutions existing on the same door. How do we do that? Where do go I go and find that single card reader that can do both card swipe and NFC, because people wants to do their mobile devices or their Apple Watch, right? Or
Mhm.
fingerprint. And it's like, yeah, those solutions don't exist because everybody's going, hey, this is the easiest thing to do. Well, that easiest thing to do does not meet all the use cases that you are going to find on a higher education campus.
So
Yeah.
higher ed CISOs, everybody, baked goods, hugs, take care of them. They need love.
Hey, I'm just saying, whenever we go to lunch, John buys Sumit's lunch. He's like, no, yeah, I got you, buddy. We have a question from Jacob Lewis. Don't you know Jacob?
Yeah.
Sumit? Yeah, I think I met Jacob because of you. Okay, so as CISO at LSU, do you often have difficulties in securing antiquated physical and software infrastructure? That's everywhere. From my understanding, LSU's class registration runs on the COBOL programming language, for example.
So higher education, like banking and insurance industries, have a lot of technical debt.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
banking
everywhere.
and
That's
right, but
everywhere.
banking and insurance agencies run all of their stuff on mainframes
Mm-hmm.
because trying to transition them into a modern world is not easy.
No.
Higher education is still on legacy infrastructure because we don't have the money, right?
Yeah, it's different.
It comes down to cost of it. However, I will tell you this, that LSU actually will be on a cloud-based student information system in spring of 2025.
Nice.
And sometime in spring of 2025, we're going to have a huge party because we will officially be um, not shutting down the mainframe, but shutting down the applications hosted on
Nice.
our mainframe. Uh,
Congratulations. Virtual high
yeah,
five.
thank you.
Nice. Good
Because
job.
it's
Everybody that worked on that. Good job. Or working.
definitely it's been several years in the making. We That is one of the big projects that we have. I mean, this is public information. LSU went live with our HR system from mainframe to cloud-based solution in 2016,
Nice.
and and it's not just LSU A&M actually. LSU A&M, LSU at UNS, LSU at Alexandria, LSU Shreveport, all four of the um, six teaching institutions under the LSU umbrella will be going to a single workday student, um, and we're going to be going live in two phases, right? So LSU A&M and LSU E fully go live sometime in spring 2025, and then LSU Alexandria and Shreveport follow a year later. And we are probably going to be the first multi-institution workday student implementation that goes live.
I just want to
Um,
help. Can I help? I want to help. This is cool.
yeah, I mean, the project team is like 200 plus people at the moment,
Great.
just
Can I
because
buy
there's
them coffee? Can I just hang out with them for a little while? I want to learn all the things and hear all of the little happy joy moments and all of the frustrating like I'm that
the
person.
happy joy moments are still to come.
I know, but there's little ones. There's little ones, or else they would have quit by now. Sumit, I'm just
Yeah,
telling you. There's
yeah,
little ones. There's little markers they've hit, and they've been real
yeah.
excited about it.
Yeah, but no, but to answer the question, yeah, it's definitely difficult, but we have taken a lot of strides in our efforts to make sure that we try and keep our infrastructure secure, where it's accessible from, how it's accessed, who has access to it. Um, Part of the risk management also is transferring the risk, right? So that's where external vendors and external partners come into picture because public-private partnership, believe it or not, LSU has had tremendous success with public-private partnership where um, certain aspects of our environment we have handed over to private sector to help manage, where certain aspects of that same operation we have kept in-house because they deal with students, or there's some other aspect of it where we believe we can do that job better. So LSU has had great success with public-private partnership, and that's from a risk perspective that helps because we can transfer certain aspect of our risk to somebody else um, contractually also, and help with that risk management aspect of things.
Very cool. Thank you, Jacob. Good question. That was
Yeah.
good. I like that question. If you guys have more, just drop them in. Just the way. Look, Jacob led the way. Good job, Jacob. The little scrolly bar even tells you where to go do that. You can do that on the LinkedIn, the YouTube, or the Twitch, and then it'll pop up over there in this side. I always screw this up because I don't mirror my camera. But yeah, that's where that's at. Very cool.
Yeah, that all becomes a major challenge. when you're dealing with systems that size, it's hard to change a flat on a semi at 60. It just doesn't work very
Yep.
well.
Well, but
Fine.
it's not even that, right? Like, because and because you have researchers. So LSU, our main campus, actually has a veterinary school and a vet hospital.
Yep.
Well, guess what? If you want to purchase an instrument that cost $1.5 million, you're not going to replace it in 2 years because it's still running on Windows 7, right? It's just not feasible. Where's that $1.5 million going to come from? And vendor says, nope, this is what we have. You want Windows 10 or Windows 11 now? You got to spend the next. It's not a software upgrade. You got to buy a new machine altogether.
Mhm.
Well, how do you secure that? Because that machine has to be on the network, because it has to send out information to different other systems, including clinical systems, and people need to be able to access it to see information. And so we have, like, I know we have instrument on campus that um, cost millions of dollars and cannot be replaced, and but they run on Windows XP. So we had to come up with unique ways of securing that instrumentation, the machines attached to it, but at the same time, ensuring that our business aspect of whether it's research or administration is not impacted, and this can still continue to do things that they need to do. Um, but it's that, and that's where it gets difficult a lot of times to have security related conversations with a lot of folks, because what we see in higher education, it's rarely seen on the private sector, right? Now, not to say it doesn't exist, but the idea of, hey, we only see this in private sector in this scenario, whereas in higher education, we see this kind of thing almost everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something, and then Quinn said hello, and I got sidetracked.
Squirrel.
Oh, I remember. You said so. You said you have to get very creative, right? Or
Yeah.
that was the gist. You have to get very creative about how you're going to problem solve, and that just leads me to like think about my sidekick Meg. Right? She's running in the background over here. She's actually a dancer, or like a professional dancer. She's amazing. Anyhow, it just reminds me how important it is that we keep uh, the arts and you keep driving that creativity alongside this technology,
Yeah.
because you need to have that creative, critical thinking, because securing these things
That's
is an art. Like
right.
you're creating this visage of beauty, hopefully,
Yeah.
that
So
that's
so
gonna
I'll
keep flowing.
I'll tell you something interesting, because I had just had this conversation yesterday. We In my team, I mean we're a team of 12 people, but we have more people that are non-IT degree holders, including myself, than people that have IT degrees, right? Um, I got my undergrad is in HR, and my master's is in public administration, and but all of my work experience, starting from when I was a freshman at LSU till now, has all been in IT, right? Whether it's IT project management or consulting or security or desktop operations or help desk, right? We can go back. I've done almost everything except for networking. When I say networking, what I've done is I need to make sure this patch cable needs to go into that jack, and that's it. That's the networking I've done. But we few years ago we started to have a conversation about um, LSU needing well, when I came to LSU as CISO, I started having the conversation. I need a SIM. I need to be able to bring everything together in one pane of glass. That conversation, um, that conversation went from having to have a SIM to I need a 24/7, 365 SOC, right? And today, we are 18 months in. We have a public-private partnership, and this is something that is at the state of Louisiana, funded by the state through Board of Regents for the state of Louisiana. We have an organization called Lani which is Louisiana Optical Network Infrastructure, and we have a SOC as a service that's being leveraged. But part of that is a student-powered SOC, right? So our student-powered SOC right now has about 16 students. We are very cognizant of student schedules, so it's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are not doing 24/7, 365 out of that SOC, right? Our private sector partner is handling the rest of it. Plus, they also have people available to do more complex,
Yeah.
notable events or anything like that during the shift that our
Right.
students are also handling, right?
Right.
And are one of the main things for you to become a student worker in that SOC, you have to pass the first test, which is a critical thinking assessment. If you do
Perfect.
not if you do not score over 75 on that test, you're not even eligible for an interview.
Wow. Good job.
And we are not, that's the only gatekeeping test that we do. If
Yeah.
you don't have technical skills, that's fine. And I'm going to repeat what Mark said last week.
Yeah.
I can teach the nitty gritty of the technical stuff.
Yeah.
I cannot teach critical thinking. If you
No.
don't have that capability, you may be great, student, and you're a computer science major and you have all A's, but if you don't have the critical thinking piece, I cannot bring you on board and make you a SOC analyst.
Right.
So it's critical thinking is definitely an important factor, especially when it comes to security, because you got to connect so many dots, so many dots.
Right. Right. Oh, John asked a question about, and it didn't come through. Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Meg clicked the button and then I clicked the button. Meg, I'm so sorry. About the conference that's coming. So
The digital
DFRW.
forensic, yeah, the
Yep.
digital forensic one.
Yep.
Uh, I'm excited about it, but I will tell you this: we don't do a lot of digital forensics. Like, so my team is not involved in digital forensics. Anytime we have had to uh, leverage digital forensics, we have relied on external partners to help us with that.
Right.
But yeah, Dr. Bagili, who is one of our cybersecurity professors, he was also on the panel
Yep. He's great.
that we did a few weeks ago about AI. He is actually part of that, and um, it's actually going to be interesting. I want to go listen to him talk a little bit more about how he's
Mhm.
leveraging AI in digital forensics and how our traditional tools of digital forensics will not help in when it comes to AI forensic analysis, because you don't know how a particular AI is functioning and how a decision is made by the AI.
Right. It's going to be very cool. We're going to have him on the coffee table talks too.
Yeah.
So the event, if you guys are in the local area or just really want to come hang out in Baton Rouge, one, let me know. Two, you can hit me up on LinkedIn and I will send you the link for all the information. But it runs from July 9th to July 12th. That's when the conference is going to be at LSU. And I think their Cook Hotel has
Yep.
got some rooms that start at like 107, and which isn't too bad, honestly. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't
For Cook
know.
Hotel, 107 is actually pretty good.
Oh, for this conference, student travel grants are available?
Ooh, very nice.
Ooh, what? Okay. Yeah, anyway, drop me a note and just tell me I want to know more about the conference at LSU or whatever you want to, and I'll send you the link to the thing. It's pretty cool. And we're going to have him on as a guest, Abe. I liked
Yeah,
him a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to have Abe on the call.
Yes, definitely. Hey, Cassidy. Hey, Brett. We see you in the comments. Can I get a copy of this test to see where I fall? Oh, Quinn wants to know if he can have a copy of your critical thinking test.
I'll have to see about that because guess what? The test actually is not LSU intellectual property.
Okay. Well, Quinn's local. He doesn't live two doors down like Meg, but he lives 2 miles.
Well,
And
we'll see what we can do.
yeah, or we could just put him on the spot. I think he's gonna come to BRSec. Oh, this is a good time for the BRSec QR code. Meg, help a girl out. Uh, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's going to
that's it.
BRSec.
Yeah, that event is this coming Wednesday and
Mhm.
next week. And
Yeah.
for all, if any students are listening, if you want to, in the local area, because this is not streamed or anything. I
No.
know I'm repeating what Mark said last week, but you want to hack your interview, hack your resume, come
Yeah.
join us as BRSec event, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Cassidy actually there in the comments from YouTube, her and her group at Tech Systems are going
Yeah.
to be there. And if you aren't familiar with Tech Systems and what it is that they do, they should pay to sponsor my show, and then I'll tell you about it. Am I winking? Is that winking?
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
Just saying. Anyhow, BRSec, do that. Look, that QR code will take you there. I do not promise that all of my QR codes will not lead you to a YouTube Rickroll video like the one that Levy got me to make a couple weeks
Hey,
ago.
or a
But I
Venmo
tested,
account somewhere.
right? No, but I tested that one. Okay. That one actually goes to Mark's Eventbrite that he set up. So it works out.
So
Haha, we
one of
will
the
think
things,
about it. Wait, who's Brett? Did I meet Brett? Brett, did we meet? We must have met. Everyone go to BRSec. Exactly. I agree. I'll be there. It'll be fun. It's
so
yeah,
what,
next
one of
Wednesday.
the things that's kind of cool about working in higher ed or any kind of academic institution, right?
Mm.
So much more of it is about working for a cause than anything else. Would you like to cover that at all?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. So I want to make sure I say things the right way, because I may come across as cynical sometimes when it comes to working in higher education, because it has its both pros and cons, right?
It's a love-hate relationship.
Exactly, right. But higher education environment is where, and I'm not speaking for myself, I'm just talking about in higher education itself, is where you are developing the skills of the next generation of people that are going to be managing the world around us, right? It is the possibility of putting the right ethics and morals and critical thinking through which the next generation of people are going to be making the decisions
Yeah.
that impact our day-to-day life.
Yep.
A very small portion of the people that graduate from higher education institutions actually go back into higher education, right? Most of them go into private sectors, um, and or in public life as well. We have a lot of senators and politicians that graduated from LSU, especially LSU Law School. But it's one of those things where how you operate day in day out as a person, as a human, is that's higher education is where that gets um, embedded. And that is not to say anything for folks that didn't go to higher education institutions. They learned those things in their life, right? Um, in doing the things that they need, whether they started their own business or worked for somebody else or worked, you know, went to a vocational school and got training and certifications through that way. These are all the ways through which people transition. But if you work for higher education, your goal is to make sure that you're doing everything possible to support those students so they go through those 4 years, or like me, 5.5 years to and graduate, right? But at the same time, you're also supporting the other side of the coin, which is the professors, the instructors, the researchers, because higher education is also where a lot of cool things are being worked on, and a lot of cool things in our life, the base research, the fundamental research of that came out of a higher education institution,
Right.
right? So whether you work in IT or whether you work in administration in a higher education side, you are definitely involved in day-to-day lives and improving the day-to-day lives of the people that are impacting everything that's happening around us.
Fantastic. And folks, another thing that happens in higher ed all the time, and this is where, dude, I'm just so excited for a kindred spirit, right? Because in IT, there are many times and I'm sure you've come across it in higher ed institutions where you have folks that are really about building the strongest, best IT and are missing the point of the institution,
Yep.
right? And to hear you say that, the way that you're saying that, just emphasizes when you hear leaders in IT talking with passion about the institution and about what they're trying to accomplish and about what's trying to happen, that's when you have somebody who is absolutely invaluable in those positions in higher ed. And so I applaud you, sir. Well done and thank you.
I will say this. I wasn't always of this thought process, right? This is a learned thing, because as an information security professional, the first thing that comes to mind is how do I secure something and how do I protect the things that need protection, right? It is a learned behavior over time that you have to think about that security is not about securing something. Security is about supporting the business
Yep.
and mitigating risk,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And it's a learned thing. It is, I was in higher education. That's where my security career began. Working for LSU, I went away for 5 years from higher education and worked in private sector and did a lot of really great things and got my hands on as many things as I could, from setting up a cloud-based infrastructure environment to running vulnerability management um, for a company that kind of doesn't exist anymore, but not because of what I did or didn't
No.
do, for other reasons. But but I learned a lot of different things. But when I got an opportunity to come back to higher education, I didn't come back because I couldn't do well in private sector. I came back because I like the environment of higher education. It comes with its own benefits, um, but it is also a place that challenges you every day, especially when it comes to working with different user communities that you have to interact with, whether it is students, whether it is administration, whether it is staff that's trying to do something to benefit students, or whether it's faculty. Um, and if you work in higher education, you've been involved in higher education, working with faculty can be great, but it can also be very challenging, right? Because it comes with its own um, its own fun things, because you're trying to do something that's actually going to help them, but if you're not a professor, if you're not an instructor or a researcher, that's what they do day in day out. You can never put yourself in their shoes and think like they do.
Right.
So you have to engage them, and there's going to be hesitancy on both sides. There's going to be trepidations about engaging yourself in those situations. There are going to be times where you want to walk outside and just bang your head against the wall. But in the end, it is actually going to produce something um, that's good for both sides. And a prime example I can give you is we LSU had information security policies that were first developed in 2008, 2009. Last iteration happened somewhere between 2011 and 2013, right? We took on the effort of coming up with an entirely new structure for information security policies. We wrote it from our perspective. Some things were good, some things weren't good, right? And we've been working with our faculty senate for the last year and a half, almost spending. I mean, we initially we were meeting almost twice, 3 times a week. Then we went from that to like, okay, once a week we were meeting for an hour and a half, and we go through our information security policies and standards line by line, and I explain our standpoint. They provide feedback from the faculty side, and then we are finding out, okay, what's good. Is it changing
Yeah.
the standard entirely? Is it coming up with language that makes it more clear? Or is it coming up with a compromise where I can go this far, and they can go, okay, but can we do X? Okay, we can do X, but let me put in an exception process for you, right? And coming up with that compromise where we can come to an agreement that, yeah, this is gonna make sense, or this is something that we can achieve.
I know.
I'm
I
I'm
know.
down
I love it.
I'm down to 1.5 policies left until I'm gone through all 14 policies.
I'm so
And it's been a lot of work, and I want to applaud the faculty members on our faculty senate IT team that,
yes.
it's
Yes.
different,
For
they're
them
from
to
STEM, non-STEM, and to be
yep,
part of that, and
yep,
provide an hour and a half of their time.
yep,
And both myself and my CIO are in those meetings, and we go line by line, and we try and find what's going to work and what's not, and where we need to teach our not teach, but like, from a awareness perspective, where we need to make sure that our employees are going to be aware of things that they may be required to do, or identifying gaps of technology, not security, gaps of technology, where we need to, as an institution, we got to fill those gaps and invest in that technology to meet the needs, right?
yep,
So it's been a fun endeavor. And I say fun, uh, in a way that it's been long and arduous process, but it
yep.
is generating something that I can say proudly say that this is something our that has been produced with a joint governance between faculty and administration.
That
And
makes
listen,
me all
listen,
fuzzy.
everybody. The beauty of all of that, right? Listen to what this gentleman is doing. That's making the solutions, the IT, fit the needs of the institution, as opposed to trying to make the institution fit the needs of IT,
Yep.
right? It's important that you are addressing the people, addressing the mission of the institution, and trying to bring that into harmony. And as we said at the very beginning, the complexity of that environment is massive. The needs of a
Yes.
whole bunch of different people are massive. The needs for access
Big.
and for ability, for creativity to be able to take place are massive. So well done. That's how to succeed, is to take that in and work in all the as many individuals as you can, so that you're coming together and cooperating and collaborating. Well done and well said.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
this is why I like to hang out with Sumit. That's my cup of tea. All
Oh
right,
my goodness, it's
guys.
9:51.
Yes.
So I will be back in a minute as soon as I transfer over to the phone.
Okay. And while you're doing that, we should kick off our drawing. So
Okay.
we'll do that while you do you. Okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. We didn't practice this at all. It's going to be super smooth. All right. So for those of you who don't know, one, Meg, where's your camera? Where's your camera? Come on, lady. There it is. All right. My husband and I are big D&D fans. And guess what? So is Meg's husband, who happened to have this dice tray and some D20. We had exactly 20 people sign up. And I went, why aren't we rolling D20s? I was the first, and Meg jumped up. She was like, I have some. I was like, fantastic. So we have 3 wallets. This is correct? Yes. John Davis, can you? Yes, somewhere in the nerd I am. I'm such a look. You wanna know how far my nerddom goes? Look at this earring. Look at this. Wait, see if it'll focus. See this earring? I got it from the Denim Springs Spring Fest. It is shredded paper wrapped round and round and round and round by a local artist and then dipped in resin. Like, you want to know how big of a nerd I am? I asked that man to show me how he did that. And he stood with me for 30 minutes on a hot street in Louisiana, and I made one. And then I bought some because I was like, thank you for the education. I will
That's
pay you
good.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. That's how big of a nerd I am. If I get interested in something, I will rip it apart and nerd out. And D&D is one of those things. Cybersecurity is one of those things. Connecting with people is one of those things. I get real excited. Anyhow, now onto our drawing. Meg, if you would be so kind, can you please roll the 3D20 and let me know? I like it. So your names have all been numbered, and that's what number you are. So Meg, you're going to have to read off the names that go with the numbers after we roll them. There we go. She doesn't have her mic on either.
Okay.
There we
Hi.
go. Hi.
So our first winner is number 6, and that is Chris Huddleston. Yay, Chris.
Congratulations, Chris.
Right
if you're
there.
hanging out with us today, say something fun in the chat that your family won't be upset about. Okay, here's the next name.
Our next one is Matt Serio, who is number 7.
All right, congratulations, Matt. And who's our last one?
Our last one at number 5 is, drum roll please, Eric Russo.
What's up, Eric?
But
Nice.
wait, did you just roll 5, 6, and 7?
I did.
She did. You all saw it though. It was not rigged.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ben only came on for the drawing. Sal, sorry, Ben.
Sorry, Ben.
He looks excited, but really he's like, congrats everybody who's not me. Right?
That's rig.
It was not. Oh, John says, Sumit, you also win one. We'll have to bring it to you.
Hey, be our sec event.
Yeah, John, you coming? You got to come with us. I'm going. Quinn's going. Quinn's bringing friends. We're all going to be there. Cassie's definitely going to be there. Got to hang out with her earlier. Where did Will go?
He's walking. His Wi-Fi may not be that great outside.
We lost it. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about my fun special character mug for today. This is a golden girl. So thanks for being a friend. That's what that is. Go check out all of the horrible, mean things that the Golden Girls say to each other. It's fun. You will write that down and take that with you everywhere you go. And
I will tell you this. Go to YouTube and pull up Golden Girls bloopers. They're a lot. They're amazing.
It's gold. It is gold. Are you a Golden Girls fan?
I wasn't born in US, right? Like, so I grew up, I didn't know anything about any of these shows until I came to US. And TV Land was a way for me to pass a lot of time.
Really?
So Cheers, Golden Girls, Airplane. Now, if you say different references, I may not remember, but those are the shows that I was watching a lot of on TV Land. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's it. Next time I see you, I'm going to serenade you with the intro to Golden Girls. It's going to be fantastic. Oh my gosh. That's going to be fun. Now I'm sad because we lost
Will. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. We love him. Look, he is on the way to doing some important things where Ryan is going to share a lot of knowledge. Just boom, drop it on like 60 plus students over at their Fusion Center today. Super exciting.
We may want to have a conversation about bringing Ryan to LSU and doing an event at LSU.
That would be fantastic. I would love to help in any way that I can. You know that.
Yeah.
That's like my passion. It's just
we'll definitely have to have that conversation because I would love to get him and Abe together to do an event.
Yeah. You know what would be awesome too is if me and your favorite security awareness person, because that is a security awareness sort of, I'm just saying, like we could do that. It's the thing. Rachel is like our norm, always same spot every week with a cup of coffee, maybe. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It really is. That is it. Well, we're going to close out. Did you have fun, Sumit?
I did. It was great.
Important. That's the important part, is that we came and had fun. I think some of the things that we touched on, some of your insights are invaluable. Whoever doesn't take that golden nugget around collaboration with your teams on any project, whether it be policy or whatever, do that. That's called getting off of InfoSec Island, right? Don't don't undervalue that
Yeah.
outlook on life. Okay. Go make friends, even if it hurts a little. And
Well,
you're
but
like,
it's not just that, right? If you don't get off that island and
right.
make those collaborations, because those are the same people that are going to support the next time you got to ask for $1 million to do something fun.
There you go. You
Yeah,
might want them to like you a little
a
and feel
little.
like there's some mutual respect going on, And how better
Absolutely.
to have interdepartmental respect than have those kind of collaborative interactions, right? If you value their opinion, I'm going to say they're probably going to value yours. It's a reciprocal kind of human thing that we do with each other. Thank you, Sumit, so much. We're going to be giving you a
Absolutely.
gift.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's always awesome whenever we get to hang out. I will see you next week, man. And everybody
Yeah.
else, I will see you. I don't know. We're doing NolaCon. Oh, NolaCon is next week. Okay. So I don't know if we're going to be doing a show, but we might do a show. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to do a show at a conference. Like I can't focus on
Did you
actually
guys do one at BRSEC as well? Or not BRSEC,
at B-Sides. We did.
at
We had Mike
B-Sides?
Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had Mike from GE. He was awesome. Very cool. I want to hang out way more with Mike too. But yeah, we did one from there. It was a great little setup too, because the hotel that we were at, like we had our Secure Nation table, and then right next to it was like this cute little seating area alcove, and it was perfectly comfortable. Mike and I were like,
Awesome.
"This is great." It was wonderful. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go scope it out, see what we can do, because it takes me no time. It takes me as long to, percolate a cup of coffee, really, to get a stream going. It may not look great, but we can always make it happen, Captain. All right, you
Sounds
guys stay
good.
cool. Have a great weekend. Sumit, you have a great weekend.
You too.
I appreciate
See you
everybody,
next week.
and we'll see you.